And hello everybody, welcome to Meteorology Mondays. Today's video is over precipitation types. If you have never been one of my students and you're watching, thank you so much, I appreciate it. If you are a former student of mine, thank you for watching as well. If you are one of my students now and you're watching this because I said you had to for a grade, thank you for watching too. Well, regardless, how many of you have ever watched the news and they're like, we're going to have sleet or we're going to have freezing rain? And then you've wondered, what's the difference? Well, we'll talk about that now. Let's talk about that now before the freezing rain gets any worse.
We all know what rain is. Rain is the liquid form of water that falls from the sky in drops. You might have heard people use the word drizzle. Drizzle is just smaller raindrops. This is an example. We all know what snow is too. Snow is just tiny crystals of ice that fall to Earth. A crystal is a solid substance that has a flat surface and sharp corners. Snowfall is made up of both single ice crystals and clumps of ice crystals. The clumps are called snowflakes. And fun fact, no two snowflakes are alike. Now, some of you have asked me what flurries are. Well, just like drizzle is smaller raindrops, flurries are just smaller snowflakes. And with flurries, we say that there are flurries when it lightly snows on and off, and it either doesn't accumulate at all or it accumulates very little. Here's an example of flurries in my front yard. Now let's talk about where people start getting a little confused. We'll talk about sleet first. Sleet is partially melted snowflakes that refreeze before reaching the ground. Contrary to popular belief, sleet is not frozen raindrops. Sleet can look almost clear to milky white. It depends on how much melting happened before it refroze. If it almost melted, then it will look more clear. If it didn't melt a whole lot, then it will be milky white. It's not very common, but you can have thunder sleet. Just like with thunderstorms, you have lightning, thunder, and rain. For thunder sleet, you have lightning, thunder, and sleet. You can see the lightning strikes on radar here. This is thunder sleet from my backyard. Check it out. Now let's talk about freezing rain. Freezing rain is rain that falls as a liquid, but freezes upon contact with the ground or another object.
Why did I find pictures of freezing rain to post? I'm standing in some right now.
We beg people that during a freezing rain event, if it is at all possible for you to stay home, please stay home. Because driving in snow can be difficult. Driving in sleet can be dangerous as well. But driving on ice during a freezing rain event is a whole nother level. It is almost impossible to do. Here's some examples as to why we say that.
And now that you know what the 4 types of precipitation are, let's talk about how they're formed. Basically, it depends on the combination of cold and warm temperatures and where that combination is in the atmosphere. It's pretty complicated, but I'll give you a simple version because the name of this channel is Weather Made Simple. Get it?
Here you have a vertical column or profile for snow. Of course, when you're high up in the atmosphere, where the clouds are, it's cold. So no matter what, you start off with snow. In a snow profile, it continues to fall all the way down to the ground as snow because the temperature never gets above freezing. When you have rain, Of course, it still starts out as snow because you're high up in the atmosphere, but then once you come down in the atmosphere where it's a little warmer, that snow melts. And as long as the temperature stays above freezing, you will have rain. Here's where it starts getting a little tricky. For sleet, of course, again, you start off as snow, you work your way down in the atmosphere, it's still cold, but then it hits a warm layer. And those snowflakes partially melt until it keeps going down and hits another cold layer. Then they refreeze and hit the ground. And there you go with the definition of sleet, a partially melted snowflake that refreezes before reaching the ground. The profile for freezing rain is similar to sleet, but there's a big difference. It starts off the same, the top is snow, it hits warmer air, and then it melts. It looks just like a rain profile, except it hits a layer of cold air right at the surface. So when it hits something, the ground or another object, it freezes right on contact. And here is an example of all four profiles put together so that you can see how they're similar and how they're different.
And now you know what time it is. It's quiz time. You will have 5 questions to answer, and they're pretty easy, and about 5 seconds to answer each one.
Number 1, what is sleet? A, partially melted snowflakes that refreeze before reaching the ground. B, frozen raindrops. Or C, rain that falls as a liquid but freezes into glaze upon contact with the ground. The answer is A, partially melted snowflakes that refreeze before reaching the ground. Remember, sleet is not frozen raindrops. Number 2, what is freezing rain? A solid substance that has a flat surface and sharp corners. B, partially melted snowflakes that refreeze before reaching the ground. Or C, rain that falls as a liquid but freezes upon contact with the ground. The answer is C, rain that falls as a liquid but freezes upon contact with the ground. Number 3, what is this? A, hail. B, sleet. Or C, freezing rain. The answer is B, sleet. We didn't talk about hail in this video because I'm focusing on winter precipitation. Now, can you get hail in the winter? Absolutely. For example, on January 10th, 2020, thankfully, my house didn't get hit by one of the tornadoes that day, but it did get hit with hail, and it totaled my roof. Here, you can see people replacing my roof. Number 4, what is this? A, freezing rain. B, hail. Or C, snow. The answer is A, freezing rain. Number 5, true or false? Precipitation type depends on the combination of cold and warm temperatures and where that combination is in the atmosphere. A, true, or B, false? The answer is A. This is a true story. Think about the profiles that we saw earlier. Where those cold and warm temperatures were determined what kind of precipitation we were going to get.
Again, thank you so much for watching Meteorology Mondays. Please leave me a like and please consider subscribing. And I don't know what kind of storm this is, this ice storm, this sleet storm, whatever it is. It's cold. I'm done. So until next time.
Life will be sweet. Happiness, happiness.